What's up, everyone? Good
Hey, happy
evening.
Tuesday.
Yes, happy Tuesday. Today, we're talking about a very enlightening, very important topic, and that is self.
Self-care.
That's right. You have to take care of yourself, you have to look out for yourself, not only physically, but mentally also. People don't get that sometimes. Mental care is very important. A lot of people get stressed out about the small things, things that you can't control. What you can't control, let it go, let it fly. You got to make sure you're mentally right. You have to make sure you're going to the doctor, checking up on yourself, doing what you have to do. So, to me, this is a very, very important conversation. Like that self care is so important because so many of us, we're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not worried. Oh, it's not that bad. I'm not going to stress over it. Like, no, you have to make sure you're good. In my last 2 to 3 years, that's the lesson I've learned. And I learned it the hard way. You have to take care of yourself because if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. And you got to make sure you're good. That means your doctor's appointments. If you need to sit down and talk to someone for your mental, you got to do that. But you got to take care of yourself. That is so very important. So, what are you thinking about this, Barbara?
Um, I finally, recently, this week, I booked my first ever medical massage
Oh, okay.
with acupuncture.
I love acupuncture. A
I,
lot of people don't believe in it, but I love it.
yeah, I am telling you, if you've never had acupuncture, go get some.
Yes.
Find somebody that has, find a place that does it, and it can help you with pretty much a little bit of everything. It can help you with stress. It can sometimes contribute to weight loss, fertility issues, um,
Circulation, all sorts of stuff.
inflammation. Yeah. And I mean, I'm a big believer in therapy, obviously. But yeah, doing more stuff that has to do with taking care of me. It's really, really important because even if you're not alone in the world, your body is the only one that's going in the grave that day.
Yes, that's true.
And it's people are like, oh no, that's so negative. It's really not negative.
It's honest.
Yeah.
And people, for some reason, don't understand honesty. That's the realest shit you could say. I tell people, pardon me, I tell people all the time, like, you come in this world 90% of the time by yourself. Well, no, you always come in. Even if you're a twin, you come out first or second. So you come in this world by yourself, you go out by yourself. And you gotta take care of yourself. And people really don't get the gist of it. Like we all get so caught up into monetarial things and we're worried about bills and what car we drive and what the house we have. If you don't take care of yourself, none of that matters at the end of the day. If you're not good, none of the materialistic things matter. So you have to make sure you're on point with dealing with your issues no matter what the issue is, whether it's a physical issue or whether it's a mental issue, you have to do what you have to do for yourself. And that is so important.
No, absolutely. And most of the time before I do the show, I do hair and makeup. And like I put on a full face and
Hmm.
the product in my hair and everything like that. Today I was tired and I had to choose between taking a tiny power nap or doing my face. And I'm like, I'm not on the big screen. I'm on the small screen. It is what it
Barbara,
is. Slapped on a pair of earrings and here I am.
Barbara, makeup or not, you're a beautiful young lady. So it's no thing. You don't even got to worry about it. But but like you said, sometimes that power nap is everything.
Oh man. I was like, yeah. And when I jump off tonight, I'm just washing the dishes and going to sleep.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm knocking out early tonight. Actually have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. It's early in the day, so I'm knocking out nice and early, relaxed, so I can be up, ready, and fit, and take care of what I have to take care of. And that's the thing. Like I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and I said sometimes we're so caught up in everyone else's issues, or you're the person that a lot of people go to, you're the person that a lot of people speak to. Sometimes the person that everyone goes to don't have no one to go to. So you got to find an outlet. You have to make sure to doctor yourself and take care of yourself. And we forget sometimes, like I said, we so caught up into everything else that we neglect ourselves. And you can't allow that to happen. You have to be on point. And I used to make fun of my son because he would sneeze and run to the doctor.
I knew you were going to start talking about this.
Yes, but now I'm happy he does it. That's right. Don't half step. Make sure you're right. Make sure you're good. Now I try to tell him like it, I don't know. I'll say this in the black community, going to a psychiatrist was somewhat taboo. And I tell people all the time, if you need to talk to someone, it's nothing wrong with that. Do what you have to do for yourself. It's not, even if you don't go to a psychiatrist, speak to someone. If you have to speak to clergy, whoever, get things off your chest. Don't hold things in because it eats you up.
Yeah.
And people don't get that. Like I said, the mental self-care is just as important as the physical self-care. Sometimes it's more important because if you're not mentally right, it
Mhm.
could disturb your physical.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When your peace is that kind of disturbed.
Right.
Hi, Tamara.
Oh, TT is on. Okay.
Yeah. But it's good that your son goes to the doctor because now he's somebody's dad. And his example will
Right. But
show,
I get on Tamara too because I tell her to
yeah,
take her ass to the doctor. She doesn't run to the doctor like she's supposed to. I'm like, you have to get there. You have to check on yourself. It's important. Don't make light of anything. Make sure you're good. And that's like I go hard on my kids about that now because like I said, if I would have did certain things a little sooner, a little quicker, I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through right now, probably. So I tell everybody, like, go out, do your yearly checkups, go to your doctor, make sure you're good, make sure you do your exams. If you're like, we live in a time, yes, I know Tamara, she's sick.
Are you going to the doctor, Tamara?
No, she's not going to the doctor. I guarantee she's not. But I get on them because it's important. Like, nope, see, I get on them because it's important because you could prevent a lot of things if you jump on it right away. Then there's other things that like we could procrastinate, and now something small turns into something big. So you
But
can't
also
do that.
part of self-care is being patient with yourself.
Right.
I was not like when I started going to therapy almost a year ago now, I was like, this girl is so young.
Hmm.
She's like probably younger than either one of my kids. And I was like, and English is not her first language. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, oh boy, okay. But she does things so differently that it makes me feel like maybe she's just going to see things in a different way. And I like it because like I always maintain, I'm a big fan of therapy. If you need to get some stuff off your chest, go to professional. You know, open it up, say what you need to say because it's not always appropriate to like unload on the people that love you because
Hmm.
they want things for you. And I always say the whole thing of like adults having unconditional love for one another is bullshit. The only time you have unconditional love, babies and pets. And even then, you hit, you give the baby pow pow when they get close to the stove, and you give the pet a newspaper on the nose when they piss on the rug. So
Right.
really, the whole concept of unconditional love is a fantasy. But anyway, not like be your healthy self, be your authentic self, and don't be somebody that everybody's got to take care of.
Hmm.
But also, on the other hand, when the people in your life are willing to take care of you because you need extra care or extra love, sit back and let them.
Yes. It's nothing wrong. And once again, I had to figure that out the hard way because I've always been very independent. I don't need nobody for anything. I don't want nobody for anything. And I had to learn to let people help. It's nothing wrong with letting people help. You're not a burden. They're doing it because they love you and they care and they want to. So sometimes you got to get out of your own way and allow people to help you out and allow yourself to be helped. So I agree with you on that 100%. Now, Miss Tamara, I even tell Tamara, like she's like me, she's a workaholic. And I'll tell her like, yo, sometimes you gotta take that mental health day. Sometimes you gotta say, listen, I gotta call out. I need to go to the doctor. I'm not feeling well. The thing with all that is, and this is like I said, what I learned over the last few years. When you're not around, when you're gone, whether it's you're out sick, you retired, or you're dead, somebody's going to replace you. Somebody like the job is not going to stop.
No.
So you can't act like, oh, if I'm not there, the world's going to stop. No, the world is definitely not going to stop. So knowing that the world is not going to stop, you have to be that person that take care of yourself, and you have to think of, like I said, I always say it's sometimes you got to be a little selfish, but to me it's not selfish. You got to be smart, and you have to look out for yourself, and it's nothing wrong with that. And it's so imperative that you say, all right, something's wrong. I got to go check into myself. And like I said, whether it's mentally or physically, never be scared to step away for a moment and look out for you. Even whether it's one of my greatest loves that I've missed and I'm trying to get back to. I can't wait to get back to this. Is going to the gym. To me, that is so relaxing. You get in there, you throw in your headphones, or you throw in your AirPods, work it out. You punch the bag, you get on the stepper, whatever's your thing. You get in there and you work it out, and I think that is so helpful, and it takes a lot off of you, and it lightens your load, and it lets your mind go of all the nonsense. If you're in there an hour or two, that's an hour or two away from reality, and you're doing what you got to do. And sometimes that's another important thing. You have to let go of reality and just enjoy life and do what you have to do. So that's how I look at it.
That's how I feel about going to the beach. I feel like just sitting there, like tomorrow I'm just going to sit there with an audio book and some potato chips and some fruit. Just that's
Just
it.
relax, huh?
Just relax. Yep. Just nothing. I got a short list of things to do tomorrow and all day to do them. And that's like part of it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Um it's been I was unable to take care of myself for quite a while because I really was not well.
Hmm.
And now that I am, like I appreciate the littlest thing. Like I couldn't for almost 2 years I couldn't go for a pedicure.
Wow.
I had to take care of it. Oh, I had to take care of my feet and my nails and everything on my own. And I don't think I'll be going back for manicures because actually my fingernails look probably better than ever. But yesterday I had like the perfect manicure, and I usually don't like to get a manicure from a guy. I feel like a little like, you know, people touching
Uh-huh.
my feet kind of a thing. We've discussed this. And but no, he did like a perfect job. I never felt like he was like manhandling my feet.
Right.
No, he just did a perfect job, and they look good. And I got my little toe rings and everything. And yeah, even though I'm not wearing like the sandals with the stiletto heels, I still got my toe rings on.
and,
Kind of,
and that is something that's important. Just going out, getting the pedicure, the mani pedi, stuff like that. That's important. That's that self care. That's that self time. Sometimes even just going for a walk.
Yeah.
Like it's all the things that could relax you. And sometimes you really need that. You need to unwind if you have a stressful day. If you and your spouse or your significant other is having a disagreement, sometimes you got to step away from each other for a little while, walk it out, then come back and converse. When you converse out of anger and out of frustration, nothing gets solved. But sometimes when you step away and you take a little time for yourself, think about things, come back and converse, you handle what you got to handle.
The stupidest advice I've ever heard in life is don't go to bed angry. How long do you intend? Like, how long do you intend to be awake? I
But
think
see,
the
I
person,
understand that one a little bit. I understand that a little bit. Like, but I would look at it a little different. I wouldn't say, I would say try to talk things out before you go to bed, because some people they let things fester. And if you let things fester, sometimes it gets worse. So if you can speak to each other and be respectful and handle it correctly, take care of that. But if you know you're at the point that I can't look at you, I'm going to say something disrespectful, or I'm going to be mean, or whatever, then you just have to let it sit into the next day. It's nothing wrong with that. But I do understand the people saying, don't go to bed. I know where it comes from, but it doesn't work for everyone.
no, I need to process.
Right. Some people need that time.
And I need, when I'm processing, I need to be left alone. I've been also living on my own for many years. And I need to, like, I need space to get it together because it is not in my best interest for somebody to tell me how much time I have to process my feelings
Right.
or to have to be like to have an argument or a confrontation or hear bad news or something like that and get up the next morning and be like happy shiny people.
Right. Like I said, that doesn't work for everybody. Some people need that time away. Some people have to talk it out. And like I'm a person, I like to get things over with. But if you're dealing with a person that needs that time to digest and process things, you can't push them because you're going to make the situation worse. So sometimes it is better to just step away, sleep on it, and just because you're a little angry doesn't mean you're hating the person. It means you're upset with this person. You had a disagreement. And so, like I said, I understand both sides. And you know your spouse, you know your significant other or whoever. So you know if they're the type that, all right, we're gonna knock this out before we go to bed. Or you also know if it's the type that's like, all right, I already see that look on Barbara's face. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Sleep well. Just don't smother me while I'm sleeping. And we'll
Give you
talk.
a pillow and we'll all
Right, right.
tomorrow.
And we'll talk this out the next day. So it's nothing wrong with that either. You like it's about knowing the person you're with.
And like for me, I'm a crybaby.
Hmm.
I will probably not yell or scream, but I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna cry until I'm finished crying. And if it's something that you can't handle or it makes you uncomfortable, then that's something that you need to work on. Because I'm not going to change. And I'm not going to sublimate my feelings because they don't line up with what you think my feelings ought to be.
Right, because something like that makes a person uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know the person you're with. And when you know the person you're with, some people are more emotional, some people are less emotional, and you got to deal with it accordingly. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
And in life, you have to have the workaround, and you have to know how to deal with people. And if you're in a relationship with someone, you
one more,
definitely should know how to, like, come
you should
on,
have a workaround.
right. What
You
happened?
No, when you're in a relationship, you should absolutely know what the workaround is.
Right, right.
If after you've been in a relationship with somebody for a couple of years and you don't know what it is, or you choose to not acknowledge that this is the way that it is for days on end, then there's something wrong with your relationship. There's one, somebody that I used to date accused his ex of always shutting him down.
Hmm.
And I didn't know her. So I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. You know, don't shut him down. But then I found out over time that by shutting down, it meant like not letting him control the narrative.
Oh, okay, I see.
So you have to, no matter what mean spirited or fucked up or thoughtless thing that was going on, you could never call them on their shit. Because if you weren't like sunny and cheerful every day of the week, you were shutting them down.
Right.
And they were always blindsided. And it's like, please, if you don't know where somebody else is coming from, you're always going to be blindsided because that makes you emotionally ignorant.
Yes, yes. And that's part of the situation also. You have to take the time to try to understand your partner, try to understand your friends. It's all about communication. It's all about having that talk. Sometimes the talk is hard, sometimes the talk is easy, but you have to communicate. You have to tell people how you feel, how you see things. Like I always say, I know personally, I know I'm not an easy person to date. I know that because I expect certain things. I know I'm not gonna deviate from the way I see certain things. So when I ain't gonna say the first date, but if I see that I like a person and I'm interested, then we have to have this talk. And I'm like, this is what I expect. This is what you expect. Can we deal with it? Can we handle that? That's very important. And then, like I say, mentally, when you're dealing with people, you can't allow yourself to to be anyone's whipping board mentally either. Sometimes you have to speak up for yourself, and now I'm not dealing with that
This
because
is where I want to go with this.
right, people could be so draining that it could beat you down, and once again, you don't need that. So you have to understand like what the situation is, what you will not allow, what you will allow, and you have to deal with it head on. And you can give people a little leeway from time to time, but like I constantly say, people treat you how you allow them to treat you. And if you feel a person is being disrespectful or doing things that you don't appreciate, a person doesn't know how you feel unless you speak up. So once again, that comes back to you have to have that conversation and you have to tell a person how you feel because if you don't, it's a problem.
And if you do, and that person is like, how come every time something you don't like something, you just pop off?
Right.
Because I need to get my point across. I'm not going to stay silent. And it's okay. Part of self care in a relationship is having arguments and telling people when you're not happy or when it's not working the way you think that it should. Because
That's true.
you're you're putting yourself in a position when you let loose what you've been feeling and what's really bothering you,
Uh-huh.
you're more intimate. It might not seem it in the moment, but if you never argue and you always act like it's all good every day, you are not being intimate because you're not being emotionally authentic. They're not really seeing who you are. You're showing them somebody that they just want to see, but they're not getting to see the real you.
And that's very important to be your genuine self. Because if a person doesn't see who you like everybody knows when you first start dating someone, everybody's all nice, nice. Be who you are. Be genuine, be authentic, and let a person know this is who I really am. Like I'm always like that. Yo, listen, this is what I'm about. If you can't deal with that, I respect it. This is what I don't deal with. If this is something you feel you need to do or some way you need to act, I respect that. I'll just step away. And people don't understand that. Like I always tell people, I'd rather step away from a situation than stay around and be miserable.
And
That's not conducive to what either one of you need because you're going to be in a relationship where you're really not feeling this person, but you're there. You're so worried about being alone, but 90% of the time you feel alone. So you have to watch the way you carry yourself and watch the way you conduct yourself. And a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't understand. So, like I said, I tell people take that time for the gym. Take that even if you go out dancing, if you go bike riding, Do little things for yourself to improve yourself, to make you happy. You have to maintain, like I said, if you're a person that you feel you can't go to a psychiatrist, find someone to talk to, find a minister, something like that. But most ministers take the time to talk to their congregation or whatever. Now, I'm not going to do that because I'm not really a churchy type, but you know, you have to find an outlet. You have to make sure, because when you bottle things up, when it finally comes out, it comes out so bad. So it's
Yeah.
better to let it out early than to bottle it up, let it sit there and fester. And then when you say it in the most cruel and nastiest manner. So I'll rather try to talk it out earlier.
It's like it's cooking with a pressure cooker,
Right.
because there you are, it's shut. Like it's shut all the way. You put everything it can hold in the pot and you shut it and it locks. And then you wait. And then if you open it up, you're going to hurt yourself.
Hmm.
You have to release.
That
And
is true.
that's like the best example of a problem in a relationship. You're putting all this stuff. You're trying to get somewhere with it. And you're holding back because you think that it's better. And if you try and open it up without giving it some room to breathe, you're going to hurt yourself.
That is true. And like I said, people don't get it. It's a difference between having a disagreement and having a fight. You and your significant other can disagree. I don't think you should fight. I think you both should get your point across. And where a lot of people mess up, they're so fixated on getting their point across that they don't listen. You also got to listen to the next person and try to understand their perspective, understand their point of view, and they have to listen to you. And it's not like we're not in a war. We're having a discussion. And some people, they get so caught up into proving they're right that the only thing they do is prove their disrespect. And to me, in any relationship, respect is so very important. So respect your significant other enough to step back, listen to them speak, really take it in, think about it. You speak. Hopefully, they do the same thing. They step back, think about what you're saying, your perspective, your point of view, and you take it from there. Because that's the only way things get solved. Is that conversation, that respect for one another, that love for one another. And like I said, when I'm talking about love, it doesn't always have to be a physical love. It could be love of a family member, love of friends. If you're in a disagreement with a friend and you're truly a friend, like I told someone, a friend would never, like, a friend knows most of your stuff. They know where it hurts you. A true friend would never go out and attack just to try to hurt you because they're upset about something. You could be upset, you could be angry, you could be mad, but if you're a true friend, you're never going to try to disrespect me. You're never going to try to hurt me. We could disagree, but at the end of the day, we have each other's back. And that's whether you're in a romantic friendship or just mutual friends. It's about respect and taking the time to listen to one another and see where we're each coming from. So that is definitely what it is.
Yeah, and that's actually something that recently, like this past weekend, out of the clear blue sky, I found out that somebody really wasn't my friend. And I
Wow.
kept it pushing because somebody that I knew was my friend called that person on it. And I was like, I knew from the second. Like I got a text from somebody and I was like, you're seriously like whatever possessed you to send me this text was really not a good idea.
Hmm.
It was really not a good idea. But I didn't even answer. Like I was just like, I'm just gonna let that sit there and hope that at some point in the next 24 or 48 hours, that person comes back and says, I may have been rude or I was going through something or having a bad day. But no, they didn't.
Hmm.
But now you can still be in my circle of friends because we have many mutual friends.
But you don't look at that person the same now.
Nah, and I won't. I
And
won't.
that's it. And I'm a person, once I look at you different, there's no coming back.
Yeah, no. There's no coming back.
Because I know my character. I know the type of person I am. So I know I'm not gonna shit on you. And if I feel you shitted on me, nah, it's like I know I would do almost anything for my friends. So if I don't expect people to be me, but I expect people to I expect people to be real and honest and genuine. And in doing that, I respect a friend that would tell me, Wise, you 100% wrong. You went about that wrong. You should try it a different way next time. Then that friend that no matter what you do, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because that friend that always is a yes man or a yes woman or whatever, that person doesn't have your best interests. A true friend will tell you when you're wrong, when you're doing wrong things. Like, I'm a friend that if I know one of my homeboys have a real good girl at home and he's outside doing fuck shit, I'm gonna tell him, what's wrong with you? You got a good girl at home. Like, is she perfect? No one's perfect. But think about what you're doing. You're gonna mess up years for a couple of hours. And so many people won't do that. So many people don't take the time because you have fake friends sometimes that's actually jealous of you and of your success. And even with that, that messes with you mentally. Because if you have trust issues in your circle, once again, that's a problem. And you have to be comfortable around the people that you're close with. So if you don't feel you could trust people why they're in your circle, why are you spending time with these people? Listen, I'd rather sit in my room by myself in the dark than be around a bunch of people that's not sincere and not genuine and really don't have love for me. They have love for what I could do for them, what I could bring them, but they don't truly have love for you. So you have to understand the circumstances and the way things are, and you have to acknowledge that certain things need to change, certain habits need to change, and you have to work on that. That's it.
Yeah.
100%. Like I said, I used to go to the gym every other day. I look forward to going back to the gym every other day. And you have to take time for yourself to build yourself up, to work yourself out, to make sure you're good, to make sure you're healthy. I was having a conversation. What do you consider a person that drinks 4 or 5 times a week?
They're an alcoholic.
You know, somebody said that's not an alcoholic.
How much did they drink? Did they drink one? Because there are some people that aren't alcoholics, but they have a drink like maybe one or two drinks every day.
And to me, that's a problem. But that's not considered alcoholism if you have 1 or 2 drinks a day. I was told,
Some
you have,
doctors actually think that that's good for you because it reduces stress.
right. I
Yes.
was told you have to have like 3 or 4 drinks a day every day to be considered alcoholic. I brought that up because I tell people it's all right to be a casual drinker, but when you get to the point where you wake up and you feel you need that drink, that's a problem. Go talk to someone. Go get help. If like even like the weed smokers, if you wake up and the first thing you want to do is roll a blunt, I think you need a little help. But
But there's a lot of people in the world that have like the wake and bake mentality.
right, that's what I was gonna say.
It's
So it also depends on the lifestyle, I believe. It's just not my lifestyle, but like I never was a weed person. I'm not gonna say I didn't try it, but I definitely didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like the vibe. So I was like, nah, I know this isn't for me.
I I didn't like it until I was no longer able to take anything for any kind of pain.
Mm.
And then I gave it a shot. And the best thing about it now that it's legal is you can find out what type works best for you
Right.
and use it in like a very controlled medicinal way. Like I use it for pain and for sleep. And it's really like I think I drink less. As a matter of fact, I hardly drink at all anymore. It's been like I love to turn up. I'm not
Right.
gonna lie. Maybe 3, 4 times a year, just get like drunk, and then I feel like the whole weight of the world is like off me. But you know, when you have to take care of yourself in a new way, and I know that like in the last year and a half now, maybe almost 2 years, you've had to learn to take care of yourself in a different way, in like many different ways. And
Yes.
I would have never, like, if you told me that I'd be like 60 years old and vaping weed almost every day, I would have been like, no, because I think like maybe I smoked 5 times in my all of my 30s,
Hmm.
all of my 40s, and most of my 50s, hardly at all, like here and there. And here I am.
But it's medicinal.
Yeah, it's medicinal.
That's the difference to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference to me. And it makes, but actually using it to take care of myself instead of using it to escape myself is
Right.
different. Like, I never, I was never on an actual, like, prescribed antidepressant, but there were times, like, when I was going through the change and when I was going through particularly nasty breakup that I took like herbal mood supplements. But that was more because like I didn't feel like going through the whole modern psychiatry thing. Like, well, here's Prozac. Well, Prozac isn't getting the job done, so we're going to add some Abilify. And the Prozac and the Abilify are doing okay, but you're still having some anxiety. So we're going to give you Xanax for the days when anxiety's bad.
Yes, you become over medicated.
I see this at my job every day. It's like I review people's medications to see like what my job is paying for. And it's like, this guy is on 7 medications to take care of one problem.
Yes.
And with psych meds, you can't scrap it like and say, all right, some days just stop taking everything and we're going to start from scratch. You have to slowly, one at a time, take everything down to nothing and then build it back up again. And like I never wanted to be in that situation.
And a
But
lot of people are so over medicated now. Like these physicians, they'll throw a ton of medicine on you, and this is a self care tip also. Even if the doctors tell you, oh, you could take this, double check, double, triple check. Some things, one of the doctors gave me some medicine. And when I tell you these meds made me so shaky. Like my hands would literally shake. I was like, I'm not taking this shit. No, no. We gotta find something else. If I must take something, I
not
or
this.
they give you medicine that you actually that makes you forget things. I'm like, wow, like you really have to investigate what you're taking, and you have to be sure of what you're doing for yourself. Everything that the doctor's prescribing isn't always the greatest for you. Remember, they get paid, the pharmacists definitely get paid, so they want you to take what they want you to take.
No, but
So,
how many people have you heard of that this like opioid crisis?
oh,
How many people were like they broke their leg or they got a sports injury and the
right,
doctor sends them home with I've seen it with my own eyes, especially with like young kids who are athletes and stuff. They came home with like the Costco size
right.
bottle of
And
alcohol.
they're popping them. And then as they're popping them, now I'm addicted. So you have to be careful. You have to really look into what you're doing and try to understand what you're doing, because that stuff, like I know kids that became addicted, and they were good kids, but like you said, they got hurt in school. The doctor prescribed them the medicine, and now they're addicted to the painkillers. I know, like, I live out here on Staten Island.
Mhm.
People wouldn't even believe, like, one of the richest parts of Staten Island have the highest amount of people on Oxy, because they go to the doctors prescribe the painkillers, now they're overusing them, now they're addicted. So like I said, you have to be careful. You have to watch out for what you're doing and be thorough across the board in your self-hate. Did I just say self-hate? Self-healing. Wow, you can
Not
see I'm
self-hate.
tired.
Self-hate is not what we're talking about today.
Not today, not today.
Yeah,
But young Barbara, it is that time.
it is that time.
We could both get some sleep because we both said we're tired as hell. But it's always a pleasure. And before I go, like I mean to tell everybody, look out for yourself. Go to your doctors. Take time for yourself. Don't hold it all in, even if you have to go in a room and scream once in a while.
And when you go to the doctor, ask them questions.
Yes,
You have a doctor that doesn't want to answer your questions, get a different doctor.
that's right. That's right. It's their job to answer your questions.
Yeah.
So ask the questions. Miss Barbara, I will see you next week. I am going to sleep. You have a beautiful evening. Tamara, my beautiful daughter, thank you for checking in.
Thank you,
I
Tamara.
love you all, and we'll see you guys next week. Good night.
Good night. Mwah.